I'll just explain how the first one is done again. The example, 2x plus 5 over 11 equals 2/3. So now we recognize this binomial as being a numerator, and what you want to do with that is put in a bracket. And then treat it early on. It's still this is called, what's beautiful about all of these is basically their proportions. Okay. So basically you've 4 different things forming 4 corners. A ratio equals a ratio. And that would then mean that the square times the star, I made a mess of that star, but anyway, times the circle times the triangle they're equal to each other. Okay, but most importantly, the one you want, if this is the one you want, then that star will end up down here. Okay, but no matter which one of them you want, there's a way to get it on its own. And in this case, what we decide to do is we decide to first of all, get the binomial on its own. No, we don't, because this tree has to interact with it. So we first of all do that cross multiplying I spoke about. So that's a difference. Before we would have left that 3 there, but now because this is more complicated, we bring that 3 up. He got his little coat on, didn't he, because he was going on a trip. Okay, so now we're going to multiply this out. We get 6x plus 15 equals 22. And yeah, and then we go, well, at 15 now, and at this stage we're at an equation, and now we have to do the opposite to adding. We need to negate the 15. We need to bring him through a function that takes in a value and spits out the negative version of it. It's if you put a in, you spit out minus a. Now, so do not forget the fact you're going through this function. Okay, technically speaking, it's f of x equals a negative x, but we haven't come to that yet. But there's a function here, and if you want to bring the 15 through this equal sign, you must turn him into minus 15 and give that a new line. Otherwise, you tend to end up with the 15 still here. Or another thing to use is a rubber and a pencil. But you do need to show your work, so it is better to work this way. Now 6x, 22 take 15 is 7. We wanted it, we might have said, oh, I hope it's 6 because it'll go in evenly, but it doesn't matter, it doesn't go in. And then 6 is equal to 7 over 6. X is equal to 7 over 6, and that was the example. Okay, so as I look at it from the point of view of somebody learning these for the first time, I discovered something interesting here in that there's a difference between these and the previous ones where you do cross multiply up both. Okay, so let's get on to the examples. 3f plus 2 over 11 equals 14 over 2. Oh, that's weird. Okay, that could have been just 7 then. Sorry about that, but there's nothing wrong with it. I'll tell you what, let's pretend you didn't reduce that. It does reduce and it simplifies, but let's pretend you didn't reduce it. So you're then going to get 2 times 3f plus 2 equals 14 times 11. We get 6f plus 4 equals 154. The trick for multiplying by 11 is add those 2 and put it in the middle. In this case, 1 and 4. Add those 2 and put it in the middle, and you're finished. As long as this doesn't go bigger than 9. Another example there would be this. Add those together. That's 23 by 11. Okay, so you can see the fact they're all even. That's to do with the fact that this wasn't reduced and it had even over even, so it's not a surprise there. But I'm going to ignore that and not divide across by 2. I'm going to bring this through the box that turns him into a minus. I'm going to bring this through the negating function, which is the change sign function. Okay, so 6f is equal to 154. He's gone through the change sign function, he turns into minus 4. 6f equals 150. Now we divide down the 6 downstairs because it's a factor, not an addend. It's not adding, there's no plus there. And when that divides in, it goes in 25 times. 25 times f is 25. Okay, these are the answers we need tomorrow in class. You correct your own work, or you should be correcting them off this YouTube video as well. So 2 over 5g minus 7 equals 3 over 10. So what should we do first? We don't like that he's downstairs. Let's flip them both upside down. Okay, now we'll cross multiply. We put both of these in brackets if you like, and we'll have that coming up. And the 2 going up. And we will distribute our multiplication. Through the function box here, the negation box, the minus plus box if you like. My plus is turned into minus, minus is turned into plus. So 15g equals, so minus 21 turns into plus 21. Okay, g equals 41, do you see where that came from? And over 15, do you see where that came from? 15 went down, I did 2 things at one time. And was that really a g? That was g. 41 over 15. Now we're getting there. 2 to go. So this time it's 2 over 11 equals 5 minus h over 3. So this is really interesting. 2 over 11 is equal to 3 over 5 minus h. So I'm going to do 2 things here. I'm going to flip him upside down, but I'm also going to bring him over to the left. Okay. That over that is equal to that over that. As long as you do the over in the same direction, it's correct. Okay, and then left right, there's no, you can swap your left and right. You're going to reflect anytime you like across the equal sign. Okay, so I'm going to bracket up both of these. 2 times 5 minus h is equal to 11 times 3. 10 for the first part of the distribution. 2 by minus h is minus 2h equals 33. Okay. Now, we can do all sorts of things. Check this out. I could take the minus 2h across through the other side to turn him into 2h. And I would leave the 33 over here as a problem, but I could bring him back. Okay? Or you could say, sure, why not just divide by minus 2, like you normally would, What's wrong with integers? Don't be afraid of them. That's true too. So you'd say leave the minus 2h here and put the 10 across, turning it into minus 10, giving us 23 over minus 2. And then you just bring that minus up away from the fraction. Either way you get h equals negative 23 over 2 is equal to negative 23 over 2. And lastly, and a very interesting one because there's 2 binomials in it. We have, so let's flip it upside down. And because the bigger one is 7, let's move the 7 one here. So let's go 7d plus 1 over 3 equals 4d minus 3 over 2. Bring the 2 up. Multiply in. Bring the 12D back through the negation, through the change sign function. It's a term, and terms go through the change sign function. Factors go up and down through the reciprocation function. They don't change sign. But this does, because it's an entire term with an equals and a minus at either side of it. Okay, and the 2 is an entire term going across to become minus 2, so we're getting minus 9 minus 2. Okay, that's 2D and simplifying 2, and that's negative 11 simplifies 2. So D is equal to negative 11 all over 2. Negative 11 over 2 is the D value. Okay. And because I did the first few, that's the end of that, but I want to write up the first few so that I leave the entire set of homework on the board. The answers. A was 72, B was 56, C was negative 28, D was negative 84, E was negative 91. When we solved, J was PQ. K was equal to 7 over 3. L was minus 7 over 3. M was negative 19 over 13. L was, where am I? L is done. M is negative 19. Is minus 19 over 13. The negative fraction 19 over 13. N was 10 over 21. Hopefully I'm nearly there now. P. Okay, P was 14 over 15. Q was 15 over 56. R was 22 over 21. S. Look, I'm up to S at this stage. There's the entire set of answers for your homework. Thank you.